Thursday, December 8th edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and back to much colder weather now across the region. After it's been a pretty mild week thus far, we have now flipped back to much more typical December type of weather, and actually it's going to get even colder here as we get into the upcoming weekend. Let me show you a couple of good sights for the folks interested in skiing and snowboarding. First of all, here's a shot from Banner Elk, and notice some of the surfaces here whitened with some natural snow that fell in the mountains yesterday. And here is a webcam shot from Appalachian Ski Mountain. This camera's at the base of the mountain. Notice the snow guns are firing at full force this morning, and snowmaking taking place pretty much all the resorts across the region. I just checked the temperature at the summit of Sugar Mountain, and as I'm talking, that temperature is at 14 degrees, so that colder air back in place. There's a look at the national radar perspective and our system that brought us our rain, our very breezy conditions yesterday and into yesterday evening. That is well off to our northeast now, kind of a messy storm system for the northeastern part of the country, but that's exiting pretty quickly. And there comes the colder air plunging back in, and actually if you look up toward the top part of the picture here, here's the next blast of cold air. That is the reinforcing shot of colder air that will dive southeastward and be in place for our upcoming weekend weather. Here's the upper air chart on the European. You can see this trough beginning to strengthen a bit here, this piece of energy rounding the base of the trough. That'll drive that next push of colder air into place. Here's what we look like by Saturday early afternoon as that colder air mass moves in. And then it's going to be another complicated forecast next week, as once again you deal with some energy diving down near the west coast. And you notice you have two distinct pieces of energy, another piece of energy here, and this is Tuesday afternoon, around the Great Lakes, and how all these interact with another when that swings eastward. And it's going to make for a challenging forecast once again. I think that's going to be our story this winter. Lots of forecast challenges. Here we go on the GFS. Today, this forecast pretty straightforward. Sunshine, highs 50, 51, 52 degrees for much of the region. Some folks in the upper 40s, much cooler. Tomorrow, looks like we'll see some mid and high level clouds out there as our next cold front approaches. A little milder too, highs in the 50s. And then, here we go, Saturday afternoon. That is a very chilly area of high pressure centered right about there. And that is going to drive in another reinforcing shot of colder air. So I think there's Saturday, there's Sunday, and there's Monday. And each of those days really looks to feature highs in the 40s across the foothills and the Piedmont. Now notice, a lot of the modeling trying to develop some type of a little hybrid coastal low, so I suppose there's the chance of some precip closer to the coast as we get toward early next week, but how close that low tries to form to the coast is still a question mark. Now later on next week, here's where it gets more uncertain. Here's Tuesday on the GFS, and there is Wednesday, and look at Thursday. There you go. And the Canadian's actually fairly similar. It brings a low pressure a little bit further north than that, but on the Canadian, you also have pretty good indication of cold air damming ahead of it. The European, at the same exact time frame, much different. You basically have an area of low pressure on the European up here around the Great Lakes with a trailing cold front. So, again, a lot of details yet to resolve as we get deeper into next week. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.